The Needham Market bench this afternoon: Shorten, Cullum, Knights, Fitzgerald, Bennett, Clark, Chambers, McGrath and Exworth. Now Burton, they make 4 changes from the side that lost 4-2 against Sheffield Wednesday a week ago. The goalkeeper is Sinisalo. They're back for Hamer, Mariappa, Hughes and Borthwick Jackson. The 2 in midfield, Taylor and Oshalaja, the captain. And the 3 of Lakin, Kilo, Dunn and Smith. Adeboyejo is their 9-goal striker up top. On the bench, Garrett, Powell, Onyango, Carriol, Gilligan, Mancien and Kamwa. Very strong Burton Albion side. 8 of this team started against Ipswich Town, when Town narrowly won here by 1-0 in August. Play underway, and it's Burton Albion kicking from left to right in all yellow, who kick off and immediately swing the ball out to the far side, their left. Ball back to the centre of the field, and Taylor, one of the 2 holders in midfield. Here's Hamer, a regular at right back, floating it forward. First touch away from Dye, the left back of Needham, but again it comes back to a home player, and Burton have it down the right hand side. The touch on round the back. Dye will elect not to go back to his goalkeeper. Clips it there off of the on running Lakin, and Needham have a thrown it left back. And it looks like it's going to be Dye who is taking it, approaching 300 appearances for the club, the 24-year-old. High looping through towards the halfway line. Hamer heads it down, chested down by Lay. He's been amongst the goals in this cup run this season, Jacob Lay, looking for his 4th in the competition this afternoon. Well, he's got 6 in total this season. Here is Lay again, lifting it to the halfway line. Needham battling to try to get the ball down. It's launched long from Hamer, and a nice early touch of the ball for the Needham goalkeeper Marcus Garnham. Has it in his left palm, off to our left hand side. Always good value to listen to the Needham number 1. 90 seconds on the clock here at the Pirelli Stadium. Expecting a crowd of over 2,000 perhaps. Needham have sold a few hundred. The coach has set off this morning for this 3-hour journey up to the Derbyshire Staffordshire borders. Throw in which Borthwick Jackson is taken far side for Burton Albion, currently bottom of League One after 17 matches. Header back towards the goalkeepers, just away from the on-rushing Ingram. Not quite a sniff of goal. Sinisalo, the Finnish goalkeeper, gives it out to the right back, and Burton passing the ball around in their defensive third off to our left-hand side. All 4 stands are open here, most of them terracing here at the Pirelli Stadium. Holds about 6,000 as Burton go back towards Mariappa, very experienced, the 36-year-old. Spent a lot of time with Watford, was in Australia last year. Burton with pretty much 99% of the ball so far, but they've only got it with their goalkeeper.
Needham will be happy with that as well.
Yeah.
They keep passing that out like that, because they've got about 5-6 people at the back.
Sinisalo can't be confident at all, just not used to winning matches. Dye with a header to the left hand side, spins off the well watered surface. Nothing Lay of Needham could do with it. Lay playing to the left of Ingram, Ross Crane to the right, early doors here at the Pirelli Stadium. Here's Hamer with a high throw in. Oshalaja shields the ball away from Brothers, the number 10. Kevin Horlock will be particularly pleased that he's been able to call upon Kieran Morphew and Patrick Brothers for this fixture here this afternoon. Now it's going to be Dye taking this throw in, right next to Kevin Horlock. The Needham fans in fine voice off to our right hand side. Ingram can't get a touch, just backing into Hamer. Needham have a throw in midway inside the Burton half of the field. Needham just settling in to this match. Here is Dye again with the ball above his head. Gives it short to Lay, and it comes off of Dye for a throw in to Burton Albion at right back. It's an opportunity for these lads to show what they're all about, isn't it, in this Needham side this afternoon, Alex? Yeah, well, they're keeping
Burton penned in their own half. There's nothing been going forward at all, apart from the first when they took centre. They've not got out of their own half yet, Burton, so you'll be happy with the start, Kevin.
Won 4 games to get to this stage. Needham Market, clean sheets in the last 3, in fact, in the cup, as now Sinisalo again has the ball off to our left-hand side at the moment. Burton struggling to get over halfway. Mariappa thought about pumping it long, instead goes square to Borthwick Jackson, far side, who spins away from Crane, leaves him in his wake. Crane has a little bite at him. Burton get the ball into the centre of the field, now out to their right. Hamer still on the halfway line. Hamer with the yellow boots on, trying to send it over the top for Oshalaja, who played left back last week, certainly in midfield this afternoon. As Brothers comes back and takes out the corner flag. His momentum took him through the corner flag. And that's going to have to be replaced, but early days. This could be a first test of how Needham deal with the aerial threat of Burton, which could be substantial. They are a tall side. It's only a throw in there. Hamer has the ball tucked up his yellow jersey while someone sorts out the replacement flag.
Yeah, it must be a long throw. He must have a long throw up his sleeve. The way they've all lined up in the 6-yard box.
Kevin Horlock with his pom-pom hat on and still shorts weather as far as the former Manchester City and West Ham midfielder is concerned. Done a great job at Bloomfield's. Definitely a club on the up, as we mentioned earlier on, in terms of the academy, the women's football side of things. This, though, would be one heck of an achievement to still be in the second round draw on Monday, whether it's outright or whether it's facing a replay just over a week later. And still we've got this break in play.
Boy running across there with a pole.
It's just a broomstick. They're going to have to improvise.
He could fly, can he?
Need to get somebody to sort out the flag on this near side. It's a shame this break in play has come, really. Got all the big men forward pretty much, Burton Albion, but they've not had it their own way in this first 6.5 minutes. They've lost their last 2 coming into this game. Needham without a win in 3. In fact, Needham haven't won since that Maidstone victory. The players went through that warm-up, all the stretches, and now they're out there just standing like statues. There's a big cheer from the Needham supporters because the replacement flag is in place. The game can resume. Hamer, the right back of Burton, getting ready to hurl the ball into the Needham box off to our right hand side. Plenty tall players forward for the home team. Still alive inside the wood, just drops beyond the far post. Big goal kick off the floor for Garnham.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before the game. They have got a very substantial height advantage, and that long throw, they don't want to be giving any of these away, albeit that was accidental and when they gave it away, but they don't want to be doing that very often.
4 levels between these two sides. Needham a step 3 side in the Southern League Premier Central, just mid-table in there at the moment. Got a game against Tamworth on Tuesday night. Here is a knock forward in midfield from Collard, one of the academy graduates in this side. Brought through a fair few players in recent times. Kieran Morphew the first of those. Long ball forward from Burton. Too much on it for Oshalaja. He gives the thumbs up generously to his teammate at the back, but the ball was always going to travel into the terrace and off to our right. And as the big scoreboard above Marcus Garnham says, it's still Brewers 0, Needham 0, with 8 minutes of this FA Cup first round tie gone on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. And Monday night we'll have full match commentary of Bracknell versus Ipswich over the course of this busy weekend. Here is Garnham, played for all the biggest non-league clubs in Suffolk during his successful non-league career. Lobbed over the top by Taylor of Needham, one in the air at the back by Dan Morphew. Ball's hardly been on the far side of the field for the likes of Crane and Hammond to get involved. Needham playing it around nicely. Frimpong back to Hammond, once of Ipswich Town. Ball curls out far side, played under Kevin Horlock at Malden and Tiptree a few seasons ago. Versatile player, Carl Hammond. There's a few in this Needham squad actually, but he's certainly playing right back as we expected he would this afternoon. Still waiting for the first goal of the afternoon here at the Pirelli Stadium. Kevin Horlock would have taken that pre-match after 9 minutes, I'm sure. Here is Hughes, closed down by Lay, crossfield diagonal. It's taken nicely on the far side of the field by Keylor Dunn. A year ago this weekend he was scoring for Oldham against Ipswich Town in this competition. Poor challenge on Frimpong, who's rolling around on the ground. That wasn't clever at all from Borthwick Jackson. I think Mr Kitchen is going to want a word with the left back of Burton. Christian Frimpong certainly felt that one.
He did. I did think he rode it a little bit though. I think he got a little kick, but I think he'll be alright. He's just got a kick on his ankle, but he'll be alright.
No one playing at a lower level than Needham still alive and kicking in this season's FA Cup. A few from their level, including Bracknell actually, but of course Colville and Alvechurch have FA Cup ties this weekend. Everything so far seems to be going to league form. Certainly did last night for Sheffield Wednesday and Portsmouth, and as Graham was saying earlier on, Connor Wickham got a couple of goals for Forest Green that saw them beat Kevin Phillips South Shields at lunchtime. Maybe the story will be here, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. 10 gone, 0-0. A little bit nippy at the Pirelli Stadium. Hammond with a short throw, then had to dive to win the challenge. It's knocked over the top from Needham, scooped away into touch far side by Mariappa. Well, it's not looked four levels between the two sides so far, Alex Murphy.
No, and I think Needham was doing the right thing. They played their sail into the game. They're keeping the ball, and they're putting it in the channels, and they're getting throw-ins up the far end of the pitch. Now they're on the attack.
Here's Needham. Crane, left-footed cross into the Burton box. It was a decent one, caught though by Sinisalo. He slips as he kicks the ball to the centre of the field. Still worked out really well for him. He got lucky. The big man Adebayo to the right side, and Smith, the number 11, he cuts in field. Lively player. Burton gives it into the centre. Taylor for Burton. That cross into their box has maybe woken them up, wound them up a little bit perhaps. Here is Keylor Dunn. Got a hat-trick earlier on this season. Hasn't been a regular in the league. Now Smith picks it up for Burton, passing it around far side. Needham have men behind the ball. Now it's Borthwick Jackson for Burton. Has to go backwards though. Needham did well. Ingram can't make it stick. And Burton have the ball back inside their half of the field.
Yeah, it was nearly I think that's what they're trying to do, but they're trying to suck Needham, mark it in, and then try and get them on the counter-attack.
Ball dinked over the top by Mariappa, out to the far side. It's got too much on it though for Lakin. He and Smith have switched flanks. They're playing wide of the support players in behind Adebayo. It's out on the far side of the field. They did lose to non-league Barnet a couple of years ago. Burton Albion went out to Port Vale in round 2 last season, but their FA Cup record overall is incredibly poor. Only managed to reach round 4 once in their history. Of course, for a long time they actually weren't in the Football League themselves, and as Kevin Horlock was saying, they're a shining example for clubs of kind of Needham's level, what can be done. And to be in the Championship for a couple of seasons from 2016 to 18 was a ridiculously good achievement under Nigel Clough. A nice feel about it, this club, but obviously seriously threatened with dropping down to the 4th tier. Play back underway here. The ball pings back to Marcus Garnham. He controls it with his right foot and then clears towards the halfway line. Lay is beaten in the air by Hamer, which you would expect. Burton have got the ball on the halfway line. Out to the right, Hamer, short down the line to Oshalaja. He's a strong lad, the number 4. He goes back to Hughes, who then goes back to Sinisalo. Not gone the way that the home crowd would have been expecting. The early skirmishers. 13 gone. Good challenge far side by Hammond. The referees let it go. Then Crane feeds it back to Hammond on the right hand side. Chance for his cross to come in low to the box. Cut out by Taylor. He spins and clears to the far side of the field. Forward from Lakin into the path of Keylor Dunn. Held up. Dan Morphew has a little nibble. The loose ball comes back into the Burton side of the halfway line. Taylor flings it out to the right. Should be controlled by Smith, but it wasn't. Took his eye off the ball. It's a Garnham goal kick for Needham, goalless. Yeah,
he's got to control that. Try and control that with his right foot, not his left. Yeah, because the way he's brought it down, if you bring it down, you're the boot on the outside. But yeah, good break from Burton there, but as I say, touch let him down. But before that, great tackle, but it had to be timed to perfection, because if he missed, he was taking the man there, and he could have been it could have been a yellow for that. But I'm quite been impressed with Needham. I think they've started the game well. Burton are going to find it hard because they're playing with that 4-2-3-1, and the two sitting in front of the back four are just sitting there. They're not venturing far forward, so they're not. So it's going to be tough for Burton to break them down.
Dino Marmria screaming in the background whilst Alex was chatting there, unhappy with something or other in his midfield as Garnham lined up this goal kick. Frimpong, his brother Emmanuel, used to play for Arsenal. He's played at a higher level for the likes of Chelmsford and Braintree. Key player in midfield for Needham. Here is Hammond.
He's built like a prop forward, isn't he?
It's very strong, isn't it? Hammond, the 27-year-old, with this throw in on the far side of the field. Just edging along that far touchline. Nodded back to him by Ingram, and he hits it forward, doesn't go too far. Nodded on though by Brothers. The goalkeeper eventually gets there as Lay maybe got a whiff of an opportunity. Didn't look that great, the communication between Hughes and Sinisalo, but the goalkeeper got there just in the nick of time. And Burton have the ball again on the edge of their penalty area. In all yellow, playing from left to right. Not bad conditions for football here this afternoon at the Pirelli Stadium. Taylor gets it forward down the line. In goes Brothers. Good lunging block. Ball out of play. It's a round of applause from Tom Rothery, the assistant manager. Oh, mistimed jump from Dan Morphew into the centre it comes. Back here, Burton inside the Needham Market area. Keylor Dunn tried to give it back to Adebayejo, but played it out behind for a goal kick to Garnham.
Yeah, first time I've seen it. Own mistakes from Needham, no. We could have just cleared these lines, and they nearly took advantage of it. But thankfully for Needham, just put it wide.
Very little in the way of goalmouth action so far. Very much from the Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank school of touchline behaviour. His successor, Dino Marmria. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank never stopped when we were here in August, very agitated. And his former assistant, now the manager, here is very, very similar. Brothers with a throw-in on this near side of the field. Came from working alongside his brother at Grantham Athletic back in January. Patrick Brothers had a long time at Leiston earlier on in his career. Good player. Here is Dye, the left back. Had numerous throw-ins on this near side in the first half. The ball just evades Ingram, who's been manhandled by Hamer. Good challenge in the air there from Dan Morphew. Comes into the centre of the park. Frimpong goes in to try to win a challenge against Taylor. Taylor stayed down injured. The referee says play on. Burton have the ball down the left-hand side with Lakin. Shaped to cross. Held up by the Needham defence. Burton on the attack. Wide left. Smith pulls it back. Might be a chance to knock the ball into the Needham box. In it comes. It's headed. And it's cleared off the line. No, it is brilliant defending from Needham, just millimetres away from conceding a goal there. I think it was Kieran Morphew who seemed to kick it off the line.
Great save though as well initially. It was right point blank save from the keeper, and then Morphew's just cleared off the line. I think it was the keeper that's touched the net.
That was the confusion, wasn't it? You could see the net move, but still 0-0.
Have they got is it VAR? Is that what we're waiting so long for?
Clearly the ball didn't cross the line, because the referee, I'd imagine, will have a little buzzer on his wrist. The goal line technology will be there, if not VAR. Still 0-0. 18 gone in this FA Cup first round tie. Hamer throws into the Needham box, headed away off the near post area by Kieran Morphew. Needham trying to break forward. They won't. The ball slammed in their face. Taylor guides his half volley pass back to Sinisalo. So clearly that, by distance, is the closest we've come to the opening goal of this tie. Still 0-0. Full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport this afternoon of Needham Market at Burton in the FA Cup. Here is Frimpong getting the ball to Lay. Lay's touch took it away from him though. Here's Adebayejo switching play for Burton. Hanging ball crossfield to the far side. Hammond though wins the challenge for Needham. He'll burst up to the halfway line. Smith has a little go at him. Hammond's still got the ball. It's been a tremendous run. He eventually runs out of steam, tumbles to the ground. Nothing given, nor does he look for a foul. It's just unfortunate, but it was a blistering run from Kyle Hammond.
Yeah, 70 yards he took the ball. I thought he was just going to put it in the box, but to be fair to the winger, he stuck by him.
20 minutes gone, still 0-0 at the Pirelli Stadium. A grey afternoon, all 4 floodlights, one in each corner of this ground, beaming out. Kicked up in the air by Kieran Morphew and out for a throw-in. 2 changes to the Needham side that beat Maidstone. If you're just joining us 20 minutes into this game, Kieran Morphew I just mentioned, and Patrick Brothers in for Hugh Cullum and Tom Fitzgerald, who are on the bench.
I think it's brilliant when managers at this thing with the shouting and ball, but you don't hear nothing like that on the pitch. You can't hear it. No, you can't hear it. So it's just for their own thing.
Just gets it out of their system.
It just gets out of their system, I think. But you hear them shouting and balling, but the nearest man's them about 60 yards away.
Here comes Hamer with another long looping throw into the Needham box. Good header away by Kieran Morphew. Chested down though by Hamer. The danger hasn't been averted. It should be now. Crane gets the boot on ball, but it goes straight out of play. Far side. Did make an appearance for Ipswich Town in the FL Trophy a couple of years ago. It was at Gillingham, if memory serves. Ross Crane. He's a player that's given the opportunity could cause Burton some problems. Hamer again, with the backdrop of these big barks from Maria, throwing the ball into the Needham box, headed on by Oshalaja comfortably into the waiting palms of Marcus Garnham.
Yeah, looks comfortable with the goalkeeper, didn't he? Garnham.
Yeah, it was a good stop from
good hands
a few moments ago.
He's got a good kick on him as well.
Drops the ball down outside of his area. Primary school teacher Marcus Garnham, right-footed ball, forward effortlessly, floats, flies down the field from right to left. Kept in on the far side by Burton. Taylor, overly ambitious there, well away from Keeler Dunn.
You can see the game plan, and as soon as you get to one side, there's a switchy play all in behind the fullback on both sides, and try to get Smith and Keeler Dunn in, but that was well off that one.
Quite a calm bunch, Burton fans, or certainly the couple of thousand that are inside this ground. Had they not been, and had there been more, I'd imagine by this stage, 0-0 with Needham Markets, who are they kind of attitude, would be getting quite a bit of stick for the way that their team has performed, and not least of all what it says on that scoreboard behind Marcus Garnham. 0-0 at this stage of the game. Ingram wins the goal kick from Garnham, then long boot forward from Mariappa. Dive, Needham hits it back into the Brewers half. Here is Hamer again trying to put it behind the back of Needham, headed out by Kieran Morphew. Again, the game plan from Burton, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Morphew's there. It's a comfortable header. He's just got to find his fullback there instead of putting a throw in, putting his team under pressure there.
He knows that himself. You could tell by his reaction. He didn't mean to head it straight out of play at all there. Needham might have to do some defending. No, Frimpong gets a header away 25 yards from goal. Dan Morphew this time in the air, dropped down onto the knee of Adebayo. Really excellent improvised defending from Kieran Morphew, and the ball goes back towards Garnham. He's sort of hung his heel up behind his head as he had to intercept as Adebayo was trying a few keepy uppies in the D before potentially hitting it at goal.
I can't believe the Morphews are not related with a name like that.
Yeah.
That's a strange one, isn't it, really?
Yeah,
both it is. Morphews, both play for Needham Market, but they're not related.
Both play centre half as well.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and lots of appearances. The two, and Kieran's knocking on towards 370 appearances for the club, and Dan's on 200 and odd. Oh, it was a late challenge. Poor challenge by Hughes on Collard. Collard, one of those academy graduates in this Needham side. It's a free kick to Needham. First one they've had potentially of the game, but I was certainly going to say in an attacking position. Ross Crane, Patrick Brothers, Kyle Hammond, the three standing around the ball. Dan Morphew's having a word or two.
I'm not being funny, but you've got to have a strike from here.
Yeah.
You've got to have a strike, because with this surface, if that bounces just before the 6-yard line with pace, he's got a chance. He's just got to make sure he hits the target and then follow in.
24 minutes gone at the Prelly Stadium.
Great opportunity this, although it is maybe probably 8 yards too far out.
Free kick to Needham Market, around about 29 yards from goal. It's going to be Kyle Hammond to knock it into the Burton box towards the far post, headed down only as far as Jacob Lay, pulls the ball back, it's knocked into the box, headed away by Burton as Dan Morphew tried the flick on header. It's Adebayo, the number 14. He's done very well in the congested area. Gets the ball out to the right-hand side, Oshalaja, but in the way were a combination of Lay and Brothers. Needham knock it long, but too long One bounce, it's back with Sinisalo. Still at 0-0, and they didn't do what you hoped they might, Alex.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I can't believe they're trying to cross it in with the height difference there. There was no way they were going to win the header. They'd as well going for a shot and try and follow the rebounds in. But hey.
Well played, Lay. Infield to Brothers. Oshalaja's gone after him. Brothers has held onto the ball well. Gets it back to Dye, directly in front of us. Infield from Lay, but it's to Taylor. Taylor goes early down the middle, nicely controlled by Kieran Morphew, then slips a pass into midfield to Collard. Now Frimpong, good stuff from Needham, up towards Lay. Doesn't quite get there. Ingram looks a bit dejected in the centre of the field, not been involved as much as he would have liked. The shaven-headed number 9. Now Keylor Dunn goes crossfield to Mariappa, who carries the ball to halfway. 25 gone, still goalless. The drummer is here supporting Needham. Collard has done very well, finding Hammond in some space, far side, gets towards the halfway line, tries to play it down that line, looking for Crane. Crane still playing in front of Hammond on the far side of the field. It's going to be a Needham ball far side. Let's go back to Graham.
We heard from the Alvechurch Bosch Ian Long ahead of kick-off. His side one up at Cheltenham.
Wow, maybe that's going to be the story this afternoon. Still 0-0 here at the Pirelli Stadium. Kyle Hammond with a throw, and I think it was particularly Paul Jewell in particular had very high hopes of him. Always spoke in glowing terms early on in his Ipswich Town career. Might even have been Mick McCarthy, that kind of era. Wide left, Adebayejo for Burton, outside the Needham box. His right wrist heavily strapped. Oshalaja's done well to get it to Smith down the left-hand side. In comes his cross, or would have done, if it hadn't been deflected out behind by one of the red and black shirts back defending for Needham. First corner kick of the game for Burton, which is where, Alex, we expect them to be a major threat.
Yeah, I do think they are a major threat. They work a lot on set pieces, and you can tell that with their long throws. That's where their main advantage is. Just got to make sure the goalkeeper's on his toes here.
Needham fans will be nervous, so too a little bit. Kevin Horlock watching on just off to our right hand side. League One club clearly have the height advantage. In comes their first corner kick off to our right, missed by all and sundry, and it curls out behind. Phew, we can all breathe a bit more comfortably. Goal kick to Marcus Gunn, and we are still 0-0 with 27 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I don't think he's executed that well, because everybody was at the near post. There was one at the back post. I think it was too much height on that corner, but good pace on it, but and whip. But I think he just overhit it.
Got Charlton and Plymouth here next. Burton Albion, 2 good tests for them. As Garnham comes forward with his goal kick, Alex.
I just think Needham Market just need to believe in themselves a little bit more when they're on the ball. It's a little bit hot potato when they get it. They're trying to get it. Because I tell you what, the longer this game goes, if they believe in themselves, because Burton are no big, no hot shots.
Absolutely not. Hammond with a clear header. It's out of play far side for a throw in to Burton. Current holders of the Suffolk Premier Cup at Needham Market. Play Felixstowe and Walton in that competition in the new year. Up to the halfway line comes Hughes, a run forward from the number 5, then goes short to Smith, who's charged down by Frimpong. Burton have the ball with Hamer, held up by Lay. Ball threaded forward off the outside of the boot of Taylor. Hughes to the right hand side, waiting for the ball is Keylor Dunn up against Dye. Dye standing his ground. Keylor Dunn trying to get a cross in, doesn't quite manage it. Got it beyond Dye, but there was the head of Kieran Morphew in the way. Now the ball goes out of play. Good strength from Dye of Needham, and it's a throw on this near side of the field for the Suffolk side. Dye, the left back, who's going to be taking it for the market man. The supporters watching on just off to our right hand side. Ball's headed out into the crowd directly in front of us as Ingram was sandwiched between Hamer and Taylor. Ingram thought about taking the throw, but it's Dye who's going to be coming forward and taking it for Needham Market. Collard offers himself up, instead it goes down the line to Lay. Lay gets it back to Dye. Stumbling backwards, he looks towards Ingram, who goes down underneath Hughes. Nothing given by Mr. Kitchen. Mariappa goes to his left back, Borthwick Jackson Crane stumbles. Borthwick Jackson gets the 1-2 going with Smith. Borthwick Jackson down the left-hand side, looking for the run of Lakin. In steps Dan Morphew, back to Garnham. Good first-time kick from Garnham. Headed down by Smith though. Here come Burton. Lakin rides the challenger Frimpong. Low ball into the area. Oh, it's a really good opportunity for Oshalaja. They hit it well in terms of force. Thankfully, as far as Needham are concerned, the direction was lacking. It's into the empty terracing.
No, it's a good save, Brenner. It's a good save for the goalkeeper.
Very good save then.
He's touched over the bar. I mean, I think it was rising anyway, but he has got a hand to it.
Very well. That's like
he's done really well there.
Well done, Marcus Garnham. It's a really good opportunity for Burton. One of very few in this first 30 minutes. Corner kick number 2 for Burton Albion. Taylor is going to be taking it off to our right hand side, headed away by Crane, chested down. There's a left-footed shot saved by Garnham again. Good goalkeeping once more, came through a lot of bodies. Here come Burton. It was Lakin with the effort. In comes the cross, diving header away acrobatically by Dan Morphew. Bit of pressure from Burton at the moment, but Needham are standing strong, although they've got the goalkeeper to thank for 2 fine stops. Yeah,
and I think he's just got to keep it tight. I mean, getting on like we were hoping for the half-time whistle. It was 15 minutes, there's a long way to go, but he was saying like just keep it nice and tight for the last 15.
Hamer again drying the ball in his yellow shirt over in the far right corner. Needham have just about everyone back in the final third. In comes the long throw from Hamer, glancing ahead towards the near post, and it's just past the post. You were concerned that might have just been an own goal, sneaking in the wrong side of the post, but as far as we're concerned, it was the right side, and it's a goal kick.
It was just the way the goalkeeper went forward and the ball went behind him. I went, oh, that's not went through his legs, is it? But,
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, thankfully it's went behind.
That was an awful moment. We didn't want to see the net move, and thankfully it didn't. So we're still as we were at 3 o'clock in this FA Cup first round tie. You weren't with us earlier on. Needham have never played at this stage of the competition before.
It's a foul.
Looked like a foul on a Needham player. Collard it was. Play on, says the referee. In comes Brothers. Good challenge, facing his own penalty area. Ball skids back to Garnham, who takes a couple of touches. And then downfield off his right boot it goes. Good header on from Crane, if it can be kept in by Ingram. Sadly it can't. Just ran out of pitch far side.
Unlucky there.
Yeah, throw into Burton Albion, still their manager. Very animated and vocal down in front of us. Full match commentary live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport, our first one of this FA Cup first round weekend. Oshalaja away from Brothers, poor pass, Dye with a touch to Lay. Now Needham have time on their side in the centre of the field. Hopefully they won't rush it. Brothers to Hammond. Morphew to Morphew at centre half. Here is Kieran playing to the left of Dan. Dive forward to Lay, but between Hamer and Hughes, they're going to deal with it for Burton. Given away by Burton. Brothers in central field, scoops the ball up in the air. The back header from Taylor. Ingram battles, comes down towards Lay. Maybe a chance for Needham to get forward. Lay's going to burst forward, but the ball isn't with him. Borthwick Jackson gets it back to Sinisalo. And he goes straight downfield. Across the park comes Kieran Morphew. And he has to touch it out of play, because Adebayo was like a man possessed trying to get on that one.
Yeah, he's done really well. Burgess, I can't say his name. He was in the middle of the pitch there. He's rolled his man, but his execution of his pass was poor.
Hamer outside the Needham box, wide right, gets it to Keylor Dunn. On the right hand side, Keylor Dunn shapes to cross, left footed, gets the ball into the Needham box, very deep headed into the centre. Adebayo doesn't swing, surely a chance, saved by Garnham, but it's tucked in at the second attempt. The goalkeeper did brilliantly, but it dropped nicely to the captain of Burton Albion, Deji Oshalaja, who after 34 minutes of this FA Cup first round tie makes it Burton Albion 1, Needham Market 0.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. They just get it safe for the keeper initially, but it just broke nicely. Too many people in the box. There was a great knock back from, say, the centre half Hughes. You know what I mean? Long ball with the back post. And the two wingers have been the difference, in the Hammer and Smith. One on the left, one on the right. And the ball's into the box. And then Hughes, good knock back across. Should have scored the first time. But then it's came again to Oshalaja and he's just knocked it in an empty net. unfortunate for Needham Market because they've done well.
Yeah, you're just starting to think, can they get through to half-time at 0-0? 11 minutes to go until the break, but Needham are behind. But they've certainly done all right in this game. Of course, Kevin Horlock will be looking to see how they react to that setback. But I guess Burton were always likely to score at some stage. Let's see what Needham can do in this last 10 minutes, first of all.
The problem you've got at this level, when you set your stall up the way they've had with the 4 in the front, the 2 midfielders and the 2 in front of the back 4.
Here come Burton again inside the area, back to the goalkeeper. An important stretch of a leg and almost a toenail from Dan Morphew. Garnham got it away, but now Leah's going back towards his own area. Burton win the ball. Needham can't afford to go 2-0 down anytime soon. Hamer left-footed ball into the Needham box. Didn't quite get there. Kieran Morphew got it stuck between his feet. Brothers to halfway. Here's a chance for Needham. Collard trying to feed Ingram. He's done very well. Ingram inside the Burton box on his right foot. Cuts in field. Still got it. Oh, an important toe from Hughes. Needham still have the ball. This is good stuff from them. Brothers to Lay, who didn't have the time that he wanted. Taken away from him. Well, his pocket picked really by Smith. Now Hamer. Lay's going to try and prevent him from clearing the ball. Dye gets in there. An important touch to Brothers. It's a lovely ball forward from Collard. Initially they've got Ingram in. He'll be annoyed he didn't get his shot away really once he was inside the area. Here is Collard again, the number 8, gliding forward. Ball out to the right-hand side. Frimpong, really good reaction from Needham to the goal. Frimpong plays it in. Collard lost his footing on the edge of the box, and Burton get it to the halfway line. Adebayoja holds it up. There's worse strikers than him at League One level. Here is Smith, wants to take on Dye and get the beating of him. Across comes Kieran Morphew to help out Dye, who was beaten there. Dye goes to ground and wins the challenge. Good tackle from the left back.
Yeah, great tackle, because you got bait for pace initially, but good covering, and then there's a great tackle there to recover again.
Collard, high ball to the far side to Crane. Crane couldn't bring it down on the outside of his boot. It's open at the moment, this game. I don't know if that's good news or bad news for Needham. Here is the goal scorer, Oshalaja, to the right, and Smith, closed down by Dye, held up by Dye. Has to go backwards to Hamer. Hamer with a little dink ball into the Needham box. Oshalaja goes down under a challenge of Brothers. Nothing doing, says the referee. Brothers left-footed clearance, zips up to halfway. Ingram getting no joy whatsoever out of Hughes and Mariappa. Tough afternoon for Luke Ingram, it has to be said. And here is Taylor to Keylor Dunn. On halfway, Burton with a 1-0 lead, passing it around in midfield to the far side. It's Charlie Lake in one of their 4 changes ahead of kick-off. Here's another one, Borthwick Jackson trying to go round Crane on the far side of the field. Frimpong picks up the loose ball but gives it away to Taylor. Lakin of Burton inside the Needham box, pulls it back. Taylor with a chance for 2-0. He's blasted it over the bar from 12 yards. Appalling finish from him, and a real let-off for Needham Market, because really that has to be 2-0 when he gets himself in that position.
He's got to hit the target. He's got to make the keeper do a save, and he's just absolutely rushy blood to try to blast it, and he's blasted it well over the bar. He wasn't even close. There was nobody near him.
No.
It's an open chance.
Massive let-off that for Needham Market. We've done all right since going behind, it has to be said. Garnham just pulls up his sleeves off to our right-hand side. He's had a good, influential first half, made some good stops. Nothing he could do about the only goal we've seen so far. As the ball's headed away by Oshalaja, nodded down by Taylor. Forward from Hamer to Adebayoja, battling with Kieran Morphew. Adebayoja has got on the ball, gives it short to Smith. Smith, edge of the area, his shot deflects off Dan Morphew for a corner kick to Burton Albion.
Yeah, good defending again, but Burton coming into it more since they've had the goal. They've had 2 or 3 opportunities. They're well on top just now. They need to get a hold of the ball, Needham, and try and create something of their own.
Very hard for Needham Market. 7 minutes to go until half-time at the Pirelli Stadium. Taylor, who just spurned that glorious opportunity to make it 2-0, is on this corner kick. What can he create? In it comes, headed down by Hughes. Should have done better. Knocked away by Dan Morphew. Controlled by Lakin. Sets himself and his efforts over the bar. Better one than Taylor of a few moments ago, but still one that Marcus Garnham didn't have to stretch over.
No, it was always going to go wide. Initially I thought it was just going to bend into top corner, but it started to drift off.
Dan Morphew goes route one for Needham, will be collected by the right instep of Mariappa, towed on by Borthwick Jackson. Keeler Dunn lifts it over the top of Hammond, who rather sold himself. Keeler Dunn infield towards Lakin, and the back heel from Lakin is intercepted by Kieran Morphew. Garnham, thunderous clearance towards Ingram against Hughes. Hughes, big strong boy at centre half.
He's up against three though, to be fair. Great Ingram, he's up there himself, he's got nobody near him at all. He's got no chance of holding him up there.
Very difficult. Here's Hughes, former Leicester City player, draws in late and bypasses him to Hamer. Burton again looking to the big man Adebayo, volleyed away by Kieran Morphew, touched on by Collard. Ingram can't get on it. Hughes then goes in there. Taylor up the halfway line to Borthwick Jackson, who's caught late by Crane. The referee tried to play the advantage, but I don't think the former Bury Town player can have too many complaints about that challenge. Free kick taken quickly by Burton. Needham caught out. Keeler Dunn shoots. Garnham does well to get his body behind it. I think it came off his chest, but it doesn't count as long as it's not in his net. He did well. Yeah,
I don't think he was trying to actually catch it. I think he was trying to push it away, but he's pushed it away off his broad chest there.
Taylor from a long way out thought about the shot, gives it square to Smith. Burton on top, 1-0 up. Here is Smith again up against Collard, the number 8. Bypasses him around the corner to Adebayo, being policed by Dan Morphew on this occasion. Now Oshalaja, the only goal scorer so far, on the corner, the right corner of the Needham box, gifts it back to Taylor. Taylor to Smith. Collard stumbles. Smith to the left-hand side. Keeler Dunn sets himself up against Hammond. Little step over, and Doc dinks the ball into the centre, but only after it had crossed the line. Goal kick to Needham Market.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, Burton are really pushing now for the second goal, and if it wasn't for the goalkeeper it could have been 2, maybe 3, but the problem Needham's got, when the ball's coming out, there's no release. It's coming straight back at them all the time. There's nobody getting a hold of the ball, there's nobody making 2 or 3 passes. They're playing in the last third, the full 10 of them, and then Ingram's up there himself, and when it goes up, it's coming straight back again. So they're putting pressure on the defence, and it is only a matter of time before they get the second goal, if they stick the way they're playing just now.
It is obviously tough for Needham this afternoon, and a goal behind now as well. Dan Morphew lifts the ball up to Ingram on halfway. Here is Brothers, his first touch let him down under pressure, of course, from the men in yellow. Here they come again. Burton keen to get a second goal before half time. Hamer wide right outside the Needham box, tracked by Lay. Things his cross out behind. It's a goal kick to Needham Market. As we said earlier on, 8 of this Burton side started against Ipswich Town in the league. Have kept a couple of clean sheets in the last 2 matches here. The wins were against Forest Green, Bradford and Cheltenham, so only 3 wins here all season in various competitions for Burton Albion, but they are ahead in this particular fixture this afternoon as Oshalaja, the goal scorer, heads the ball to Taylor. In comes Brothers, and then Brothers, has he fouled Keeler Dunn? Yes, he has. Again, the referee tried to play the advantage, which is always good to see. Burton with Hamer, just yet to force a save from Sinisalo. Needham. Smith comes in field, but of course whilst it's 1-0, Hamer offers himself up on the right hand side, closed down by Lay. So it spells at Ipswich Town and a period at West Ham and Preston in the past. Had a good season so far for Needham. Here is Mariappa, Jamaican international back in the day, now 36. His colleague at centre half, Hughes, takes the ball from him and then gives it back. Now Borthwick Jackson, tall lean player on the far side, given away by him. Dan Morphew controls it into the path of Frimpong, playing in midfield, can also play in defence. Hammond to Collard. Collard goes back to Dan Morphew, who sweeps it square to his namesake Kieran. Morphew up towards Lay, who can't do anything with it. And it's gone back to Hughes. Lay closes them down. Hughes bypasses them with the ball to Taylor. Burton have it on the halfway line in front of us with Hamer. He of the long throws. 1-0 Needham trail in this FA Cup first round tie. Nice to hear from the Ipswich Town manager in the build up to this game, wishing Needham Market all the best ahead of their first foray into the first round proper. Hopefully Monday's game for Ipswich Town will be their final time in the first round of the FA Cup. That's the hope, as Hughes swings a pass to the far side. Keylor Dunn takes it on his thigh up against Frimpong, plays it to the left hand side. Good challenge from Hammond, keeping his eye on the ball, getting the better of Lakin, then just trying to shield it out by that corner flag. Goal kick to Garnham. Well done, Kyle Hammond.
Yeah, good defending from Hammond. Stuck to his task, kept his eye on the ball, didn't look at his feet, didn't look at Hamer's feet, just won the ball and then let it run out for a goal kick to his team. Good defending.
To get this far, Needham have beaten Leiston, Sheringham, Brightlingsea Regent and Maidstone United, deserving their place in the first round proper. 2 minutes have added on time. We played at the end of this first half, and obviously at a quiet Pirelli Stadium. Oshalaja to Borthwick Jackson. Now here is Mariappa. Mariappa on the ball at the back. Flashes of pink on his footwear. Borthwick Jackson's attempted ball forward, deflects off of Crane and goes out for a throw-in to the home team. Something like 80 places above today's visitors in the football pyramid, Burton Albion. Here's the blonde-haired Hughes puffing out his cheeks as he glides forward and then plays the ball to the right, and Hamer. Smith cutting in field, trying to get away from Dye and Lay. Smith outside the Needham area, pulls the trigger, and it goes wide. Marcus Garnham happy to just watch that one. Got himself in a good position. Was able to get the shot away, but Garnham showed no interest.
Yeah, Smith's done well this half for them. He's a lively player. He always has. He always looks like he's going to create something. But I think the keeper had it covered.
He is lively, Smith. I've thought that when I've seen him the last couple of seasons. Former Bristol City player. Garnham, another good kick down the far side of the field. Oshalaja, the only goal scorer so far, leaves Ingram on the deck, headed forward by Brothers. Lay can't get in behind because Hamer is there. Taylor closed down by Brothers. Good working there from Patrick Brothers.
I think Ingram's got a case, you know. I think that's a foul. He's pulled him down there. We just asked the refs to have a look at that going forward.
Over 400 appearances for Needham Market, Luke Ingram. Here he is with a header back to Collard. Ingram then gets a touch to Frimpong. Needham have it just their side of the halfway line. It's launched forward by Hammond, headed away though by Borthwick Jackson. Crane getting very little joy out of Borthwick Jackson. That's it for the first half. Off go Dina Marmaria and also Kevin Horlock down the tunnel off to our right hand side. What do you made of that first half, Alex Mappy?
Well, I think first and foremost, I think Needham Market have got to be proud of themselves out there in that first half. I think they've gave everything they could have done. A little bit unfortunate to go a goal behind. Burton have been the stronger side, but you would expect that. Realistically, you would expect Burton to have all the chances. You would hope you'd be expecting Garnham to be the busiest goalkeeper, and he's probably kept his team in the game more than often. The chances that have came have been good stops. But Needham Market, I think in the second half, I think you'll probably find the last 15 minutes he's well having a go and really going for them if this stays the way it is. More the problem is, like I was saying, if they do keep playing the way they're doing, they are leaving themselves open because it's just going to be constant pressure on the goalmouth because they can't get a hold of the ball. But as I say, you've got to look where the standard of where they are to who they're playing against just now. But they don't look that miles apart, as you were saying earlier. So, but fair play to the Needham Market. They've had a right go. They've sat there, and I'm quite pleased that I've kept them watched, to be fair.
Luke Ingram was the match winner against Maidstone. It's a very hard afternoon for him, isn't it, playing up top on his own like that?
It is. He's up there, and there's a big gap between him and his midfield because they're sitting back. And anything that comes up, it's a tireless effort. He's just got to try and get as much of it, try and win free kicks, try and get a hold of it. And to be fair, the referee's not really helping him. There was 2 or 3 times if I was a centre forward, I'd be moaning at the referee, thinking Hughes is all over me here. This should be a free kick, but he's not gave it. So yeah, he has a tireless task up there himself.
Is it worth Kevin Horlock doing anything?
No, Not just now. I think the longer it stays at 1-1, I think he'll be happy. He just needs to make sure we keep the ball a little bit, and I would be trying to get his team into a little bit more belief, because I don't think Burton are great. I think that there is an opportunity there. If it stays 1-0 for the last 15-20 minutes, I would expect them to maybe try and have a go and try and get that equaliser, maybe push 2 up front, because I think the goalkeepers looked a little bit shaky in certain things. The 2 centre halves didn't look that comfortable with the ball over the top. So I do think they need to try and, in the last 20 minutes, have a go, maybe put 2 or 3 people further forward the pitch and try and push out a little bit. But that does prone them for the counter-attack, and they do break at pace, Burton.
And just finally, some of the saves were very good from Marcus Garland. He had a very good first half, didn't he, the goalkeeper? Yeah,
I think the goalkeeper looks great, you know what I mean? He's had some great stops, a little bit unorthodox at times, but you'd expect that. But anything, his kicking's been great. Anything that's been flung at him and goal, he's had 2 or 3 great saves. No, he's done well. He's been man of the match for them.
Needham Market are still very much in this FA Cup first round tie, but sadly at the interval here at the Pirelli Stadium they do trail Burton Albion by 1-0.
Elsewhere in the FA Cup first round, a couple of third tier non-league sides are also in action against League One clubs this afternoon. In fact, Alvechurch and Colville both play at the same level as Needham Market. As I mentioned earlier, Alvechurch leading 1-0 away at Cheltenham. Danny Waldron with the only goal of the game so far. Charlton 2, Colville 0 in the other fixture, though. Jack Payne opening the scoring for Charlton on 24 minutes. Jaden Stockley right at the end of that first half, deep into added on time. So Charlton 2 goals to the good. Alvechurch 1-0 up at Cheltenham. Grimsby of League 2 3-1 up against the League 1 leaders Plymouth this afternoon. Adam Randall opening the scoring for Plymouth, but Paul Hurst's side hit back pretty much straight away. Went 2-1 up on 33 minutes. Brendan Kiernan with the latest goal, so it's 3-1 there. Colchester are trailing 1-0 away at Newport. Elsewhere, a couple of other games. Peterborough 0, Salford 0, and non-league Chippenham Town leading Lincoln City by 1-0 at half-time. 2 matches complete in the FA Cup today. South Shields 0, Forest Green Rovers 2 in the 12 o'clock kick-off. Connor Wickham with both the Forest Green goals, and in the 12:30 kick-off it finished Bradford City 0, Harrogate Town 1. We're approaching full-time in Bolton. An all League One tie in the Cup this afternoon. Looks like Barnsley, if they can hold on, they're going to go through to round 2. Bolton 1, Barnsley 2, the latest score. Around the grounds locally next.
Hi, I'm Joe Wicks, and this year I'm asking for your help to raise loads of money for BBC Children in Need.
Walk and talk.
I'd love you to get your friends and family together to go for a walk in your favourite spot, challenging yourself to get the steps in to support children and young people where you live. Do 1 mile, do 5 miles, or even 100 miles. It's up to you, because walking and talking is good for all of us. Just go to bbc.co.uk/Pudsey to get involved and start fundraising.
Walk and talk for BBC Children in Need
on BBC Radio Suffolk.
England's cricketers through to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. We'll hear from bowler Mark Wood in just a moment. Locally this afternoon, Leiston goalless at Hensford in the Southern Premier Division Central. Leiston looking to go 10 games unbeaten in all competitions. In the Isthmian North, AFC Sudbury unbeaten at step 4 so far this season. A 2-0 up away at Wroxham. Noah Chukwu and Stokes on target for Rick Andrews in the first half. The match between Brentwood and Bury Town postponed. Coggeshall 0, Stowmarket Town 1 at half-time. And let's hear now from Gary Button. He's at the top of the table clash. The leaders Lowestoft Town at home to Felixstowe Walton United. Gary.
Yes, half-time, Lowestoft Town 0, Felixstowe and Walton United 1. Intriguing clash between the top two. The Seasiders with the lead. A 5th-minute strike from striker George Clark in space following a defensive header from Lowestoft's Travis Cole. The forward chested down to fire over keeper Holt for a 1-0 scoreline. Felixstowe physical, more direct. Lowestoft showing some silky skills at times. The visitors' Charlie Warren fired over on 9 minutes, while a minute later the Trawler boys' Hipperson shot straight at keeper Robinson. Another Felixstowe attack on 22 who saw Noel Aitken took back a lost cause from the byline, which saw the ball flash across the face of goal. A full-length diving header from Josh Hitter just fell wide too from Joe White's long centre, and then a good chance for Lowestoft came on the half hour. Hipperson's precision pass from deep found Chris Henderson, who could only see his shot blocked by Robinson, the Felixstowe keeper, and a Jake Reed deflected effort from Robinson's interception just failed to reach Kyle Haylock in the 6-yard box. A good entertaining half play, switching from end to end. It's half-time, Lowestoft 0, Felixstowe and Walton United 1.
Thanks, Gary. Couple from the Thurler Non-League. Haverhill Rovers 0, Soham 1 at half-time in the Premier Division. Newmarket Town leading 1-0 away at Norwich United. Let's talk Premier League for a moment or so. Manchester City at home to Fulham this afternoon. Maz Faruqi at the Etihad.
10-man City 1, Fulham 1. No doubt that Pep Guardiola will be giving his players an absolute rollicking at half-time. They started the game strangely flat, City. There were murmurs and grumbles from the fans around me, but then Gundogan fed in Julian Alvarez for the opening goal, which bounced in off the underside of the crossbar, his shot, and it looked like it was going to be a straightforward afternoon. But then with Wilson through on goal, he was brought down by Cancelo. The City man was shown a straight red. Pereira, in the absence of Mitrovic, converted the spot kick. There have been good chances for a City second since then from Grealish. There was a header from Akanji, which Lino was very quick to. But Pep Guardiola is not happy, and at the moment this winning run here at the Etihad is coming to an end, 1-1.
At Molineux, Wolves have come from behind to lead Brighton by 2-1 at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest 1, Brentford 1 at half-time. Let's go to Elland Road. Leeds at home to Bournemouth this afternoon, being watched by Ian Dennis.
Stoppage time is over, and the boos will tell you everything about the scoreline, because the natives are restless and are certainly not happy. They took the lead with an early penalty from Rodrigo, but Bournemouth leading through goals from, first of all, Tavernier and then from Billing, but have created so many other better chances too.
Yeah, Bournemouth have been the better side. They've took real control of the game and making, forcing Leeds into making errors and then hitting them on the counter-attack. And when they go forward at such speed, intensity, intent to go and try and score. They look very dangerous, and they've just been really professional towards the end of the first half and seen the half out. They can go and recharge their batteries, looking to come out the second half and more of the same.
Half-time then at Elland Road. Leeds United 1, Bournemouth 2.
Today in the Championship, Burnley, the leaders who'd lost just the once in the league so far this season, well beaten at Bramall Lane earlier today. Sheffield United 5, Burnley 2. Half-times, Blackburn leading Huddersfield by 1-0. Blackpool and Luton are goalless. Bristol City 1 up at Middlesbrough. Millwall 0, Hull 0. QPR goalless with West Brom. Norwich 1 up at Rotherham. Stoke 0, Birmingham 1. Sunderland 0, Cardiff 0. Wigan 2-1 up at Swansea, and at Vicarage Road, Watford 0, Coventry 0 at half-time. Away from football, England's cricketers through to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup after a tense win over Sri Lanka earlier today, set a modest target of 142 in Sydney. England got home with 4 wickets in hand and just 2 balls to spare. The England bowler Mark Wood watched with relief from the stands as they got the winning run.
I can tell you I was nervous as anything up there with my pads on. Me and Rashid Adil kept looking at each other thinking, are we going to get in here? What are we going to do? So, yeah, a bit nervy, but we got there in the end.
Did England make that more difficult than it needed to be?
I think they were clever. They used a lot of spin when it was obviously difficult to go against, but I'm sure that we'll be disappointed with making it so close. I'm sure that we wouldn't have wanted to make it as nervy as what it was, but the seamers all day were the ones that seemed to go for more runs, and it was the spin that was hard to get away, and they bowled a lot of spin there to try and choke us and keep it tight and take it down the wire. But Ben, who's done it before in nervous situations and tight situations, stood up and got us there.
There's been a bit of scrutiny about Ben Stokes as a batter in this tournament, hasn't there? But I suppose a performance like that shows what he can do in that sort of situation.
Yeah, big game player. When you need him, he stands up, and we needed him there, and he did it for us.
And in terms of the start you had, I mean, it was a fantastic performance, wasn't it? Joss Butler at the top and Alex Helsing flying at that stage.
Yeah, played really well up top. I think obviously the new ball was the best time to bat for both teams. They got off like a train, and so did we. A couple of unlucky dismissals. Alex Hale straight back the bowler with the toe end of the bat. But, really glad that they're in great form, and that's good for us going forward.
Were you confident you had enough runs at the halfway stage? Or they didn't have enough runs, I should say.
Yeah, I think we dragged it back really well. At one stage, we were looking like they were going to get a lot more. So 140, I think, was a great comeback from us. And one thing that we did do was take wickets at the end, and that was important to stop the runs.
And talking about a great comeback, let's face it, your first over, 6, first ball, 6 with the last ball, but to come back and take those 3 wickets so economically, you must be very pleased with how you dragged it back personally. Yeah,
I'd like to stop doing that for the last couple of games. The last 2 have been expensive and then had to drag it back, so probably key on starting better. I mean, it was to the short side tonight, and maybe I was subconsciously worried about that, but I've got to be more accurate in that first bit. I mean, usually when I've bowled in the power play, I'm still trying to take wickets, so my thought process won't change. I'm trying to get the batsman out, but I'm going to have to be a little bit more accurate because I kind of keep dragging it back like that. It's not going to be no good for anyone.
And how good was Adil Rashid tonight?
He's been excellent for the last few games. I think he's been really good. I just think he hasn't get the wickets he's deserved. The little inside edges or one's not quite carrying. And even tonight, he hasn't come away with a bucket load of wickets, but he created pressure. He got wickets for other people, and he bowled with great skill. Round the corner, down the line, he's going to get a shed load of wickets from what he deserves with these performances.
And do you think your middle order will learn something from an experience like tonight? Because you've got some younger players in there, the likes of Harry Brook, etc., that when you have another tight situation to maybe play slightly differently?
Possibly. I don't think it was an easy wicket to start on. These are used wickets and wickets that have been played on for a long time. I'm sure if we get on a true batting wicket, those lads will cash in just like they did in Pakistan. So I'm not too concerned. I see them in the nets and their talent's definitely there. A couple of bad games, you're not a bad player overnight, they will come good.
I spoke to you after the Ireland result. At that point, perhaps the semi-final seemed a long way away. You're there. How are you pleased with how well the team has pulled things back from there?
I'm in a lot better mood now I'm speaking to you this time than last time. I was not in a good place there. I think we've done really well. The intensity's gone up because they've been must-win games. We've sort of gone into knockout tournament sort of structure. This game was almost a quarter-final. We needed to win this one. The one before against New Zealand, we needed to win that one. So the last 4 games, very similar to sort of 2019 World Cup, where we had to win the last few games. So sort of similar. We move on to the semi-final, which will be a massive game. Last year we got to the semis. We want to go even further and win it.
Looks like Adelaide could be against India, possibly. How are you feeling about that as an occasion if they do get through us in top of their group?
It's exciting. It's a massive game, India v England. 2 good teams. You've got to beat the best teams to win the competition. So, if it is India, it'll be a fantastic match.
Mark Wood speaking earlier as England's cricketers made it through to the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup with that victory over Sri Lanka. We're live at the Pirelli Stadium once again next. Full second half commentary of Needham at Burton.
Burton on the attack, wide left. Smith pulls it back. Might be a chance to knock the ball into the Needham box. In it comes, it's headed, and it's cleared off the line. No, it is brilliant defending from Needham, just millimetres away from conceding a goal there. I think it was Kieran Morphew who seemed to kick it off the line. Here come Burton. Lakin rides the challenger Frimpong. Low ball into the area. Oh, it's a really good opportunity for Oshalaja, who hit it well in terms of force. Thankfully, as far as Needham are concerned, the direction was lacking. It's into the empty terracing. Comes the long through from him, a glancing head towards the near post, and it's just past the post. You were concerned that might have just been an own goal sneaking in the wrong side of the post, but as far as we're concerned, it was the right side that's a goal kick. On the right hand side, Keylor Dunn shaped to cross, left footed, gets the ball into the Needham box, very deep headed into the centre. Adebayoje doesn't swing, surely a chance, saved by Garnham, but it's tucked in at the second attempt. The goalkeeper did brilliantly, but it dropped nicely to the captain of Burton Albion, Deji Oshalaja, who after 34 minutes of this FA Cup first round tie makes it Burton Albion 1, Needham Market 0. Lakin of Burton inside the Needham box, pulls it back. Taylor with a chance for 2-0. He's blasted it over the bar from 12 yards. Appalling finish from him, and a real let-off for Needham Market, because really that has to be 2-0 when he gets himself in that position.
A reminder elsewhere, Alvechurch still leading 1-0 at Cheltenham, Charlton 2, Colville 0. How about this? Grimsby 4, League One leaders, Plymouth 1 in the FA Cup this afternoon. That would be an upset. Let's hope Needham Market can come from behind and cause one at the Pirelli Stadium this afternoon. Back to Alex Matthew and Brenna Woolley we go.
Yeah, well done Paul Hurst so far at Grimsby this afternoon. Second half just underway here at the Pirelli Stadium. Same 22 players that started this game. Needham in their red and black shirts with black shorts and red socks, playing from left to right. Some early defending to be done off to that left-hand side as Dan Morphew beating Adebayejo and clearing the ball out far side for a throw into Burton, who are in all yellow. Little tweak in terms of the wide players. Lay has stayed on this side of the field, so he was playing down the left for Needham in the first half. He's now playing down the right, and Ross Crane, who was down the right, is now playing down the left. Long throw into the Needham box, headed on by Oshalaja. Back to goal, Adebayejo lays it off. Borthwick Jackson tries to pick his spot. It's out behind for a corner kick to Burton Albion, and heaven knows how Oshalaja got so much space in the Needham box there.
Yeah, they just need to keep it tight for this next 10-15 minutes to give themselves any chance whatsoever, because if you lose a goal now in the first 5, then it's an uphill battle. I mean, it's an uphill battle anyway, but it'll be even worse.
Yeah, Needham did well in that first half. Corner kick to Burton, in from Taylor. Good header away by Ingram, needs some help on the edge of the box, nodded back by Lakin into the area, the volley into the ground. It's still alive inside the Needham box. Borthwick Jackson pokes into the right hand side, goes down in the box, nothing given by the referee. Here is Hughes trying to squeeze across, out, he can't, and it's a goal kick to Garnham, but that was a little bit worrying.
Yeah, early pressure from Burton. They came out all fire, and good defending then, flinging their bodies in, but a couple of good chances there for Burton. They should have done better.
Corrie and Dabba just down below us on loan from Ipswich Town. I saw them go towards Ross Crane. They'll know each other from their time together at Portman Road, and give him a big hug as Crane came off the field at half time. And Dabba's hardly kicked a ball since he's been here through injury. He's never going to be involved this afternoon. Needham trying to ask a few questions early doors in the second half. Good work from Hammond. He's been pulled back by Keylor Dunn. Free kick given by the referee. Interesting to see what Needham do with this one. Brothers wants to take it quickly. The referee's having none of that.
You don't want to be taking these things quickly at this level. You want to be having a think, bend it in, put some pressure in.
In the 48th minute, Needham have a free kick just over 30 yards from the Burton goal line off to our right. Hammond and Crane over it. It's Crane who bends it in beyond the far post, headed down by Hughes, fully cleared by the right boot of Keylor Dunn to halfway, and Dye, the left back for Needham. And we get a break and play. I'll run you through the Needham side if you weren't with us in the first half. They brought in Kieran Morphew and Patrick Brothers from the team that played against Maidstone. Burton on the attack. Adebayejo is offside.
I was going to say he's a bit 2 yards offside, but this new law, I'm not a lover of the new law, Brenner.
No, I know what you mean. That's the confusion. Needham's team has Garnham in goal, and it's Hammond, Morphew. That's Kieran Morphew alongside Dan Morphew at centre half. Jake Dye, the left back. In midfield, Frimpong, Brothers and Collard. And it's Ingram through the centre up top with Lay and Crane either side of him. Give you the subs in a moment. Actually, I can now. Shorten, Cullum, Knights, Fitzgerald, Bennett, Clark, Chambers, McGrath and Exworth. Long punt forward by Garnham. Off to our right hand side goes Crane. Can't keep the ball alive. Goal kick to Burton, who have Sinisalo in goal. Their back line, Hamer, Mariappa, Hughes, Borthwick Jackson. In midfield, Taylor and Oshalaja, the goal scorer. Then the attacking players in midfield, Lakin, Keylor Dunn and Smith. Adebayejo is their leading light up top. On the bench, Garrett, Powell, Onyango, Carriol, Gilligan, Mancien and Kamwa. Here is Sinisalo getting extra experience. He's been playing second fiddle in the league of late, with Garrett tending to start games. Headed forward by Kieran Morphew, nodded down by Ingram and Hamer. And one fell swoop turns and kicks the ball forward. Oshalaja gets it down and plays it back to Taylor. Smuggled out over the line far side by Dye for a throw into Needham Market, former semi-finalists in the FA Vars when they were playing at that level. Here is the throw in that Dye is going to be taken, headed on by Ingram, and it goes for a throw in to Burton Albion. The Needham fans and management just hoping to get one opportunity, one good opportunity at some point in the second half, hopefully, whilst it's still 1-0 of course. As Morphew, Kieran gets it to halfway, then Collard is flattened by Taylor. Free kick on the halfway line. We should hear from Kevin Horlock again post-match on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Keelan Dunn heads the ball only as far as Crane, then he takes it off of him. Keelan Dunn, the number 10, to the left side, Lakin with Dan Morphew playing the ball into the centre. It comes off Brothers, an important interception. Dan Morphew then tries to find room to clear it, which he does, gets it away as far as Hammond, who leaves Borthwick Jackson on the floor, but then the ball goes out of play for a throw into Burton Albion.
Yeah, I just think when they're winning free kicks in the opposing team's half, I think they need to take their time a little bit more, because they need to try and put some pressure, take the sting out of the game, and then try and create something themselves for the free kick. I mean, they took a quick free kick there, but they've just gave the ball away. Really, I get what they're trying to do, but at this level, you just got to take your time, and when you get a free kick in the opposing half, take your time.
Borthwick Jackson down the line to Lakin, who stands on the ball and waits. Keelan Dunn goes round the back of him, but between Frimpong and Dan Morphew, the ball was always going to go dead.
There's no way I was getting on. I wouldn't even want an end of that, Brenner, with my pace.
Even nowadays with your pace.
Oh, even nowadays, over 10 yards, I'm still liking it.
6 minutes gone. Might put that to the test one afternoon.
Yeah, I might not have any hamstrings left afterwards.
That's it, yeah. We'll have to call upon Matt Byard to pick you up off the deck. 6 minutes gone in the second half on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Alex Mouthie alongside me for the final time this year, believe it or not. Town with an awful lot of southern-based games on the horizon, starting with Monday at Bracknell. Full match commentary of Ipswich Town's first foray into this season's FA Cup, trying to avoid a giant killing when the eyes of the nation will be on them. Crane back to Hammond. Hammond's clearance only goes as far as Taylor, who had that great chance to, I was going to say, kill off the tie. That would be disrespectful for Needham, but obviously would have made it really, really tough for Needham if Taylor had, as he should have done, made it 2-0 just before half-time. Adebayejo dropping off and linking up play back to Mariappa. He's held up by Brothers, who just pulled up a little bit lame a few moments ago. The referee checked he was okay and he was to continue. Just overextended. Here is Frimpong, who's clearly up for the physical battle, but loses the ball and has a little bit of afters with Lakin. Switch of play from Keelan Dunn out to the far side of the field. Burton in their all-yellow kit. Hamer up towards Adebayejo, round the corner from him towards Oshalaja. Very well defended by Dye. He clears the ball away on the far side of the field, the 24-year-old.
Good defending for Dye again. Really was. Get his body across the centre forward. Great defending.
Lay is helping out Dye again. They've switched back to, as they were in the first half, the two wide attackers for Needham. Needham doing some defending. Adebayejo outside their box, well blocked away by Kieran Morphew. Now Borthwick Jackson goes back to Mariappa. Taylor just pushes the ball away from the referee. Mariappa comes forward a couple of yards, no more, then forced back by Collard. Brothers goes after Taylor. Good pressing from Needham, forcing the ball all the way back to the Burton goalkeeper. And Sinisalo, left-footed, it goes from him. Cross comes Dan Morphew. Clears the ball away towards Taylor. Now Keelan Dunn is pulled back by Hammond right under the nose of the referee. Hammond less than impressed with Collard for some reason or other. Just 21, Noah Collard in midfield. Still just 1-0 Burton Albion. 8.5 minutes gone in the second half. Here's Oshalaja, the goal scorer, wide right outside the Needham box, gets a little trickler of a cross in, comfortably collected by Kieran Morphew, plays it away, not very far. Here come Burton inside the Needham box, plenty bodies back. Frimpong with an important block challenge, but then loses it. Cleared partially by Needham. Crane has the ball for Needham, gives it back to Brothers just in front of left back. He'll smack it forward.
Good play from Crane, that, getting a hold of it.
Wasn't it? Collard for Needham. Can he play it through? Yes, he can. Crane, edge of the box, just inside the area. Ross Crane on his left foot. He shoots, it's blocked. Oh, that was a sniff of an opportunity for Needham. Crane's given it out to the right-hand side. Hammond. Kevin Horlock knows it as well. You could tell by his body language. It was good play from Needham, just without the finishing touch as Keelan Dunn trips Crane. Crane again does what Alex says he shouldn't. Takes the free kick way too quickly and wastes it. Cross will come. Kieran Morphew, nudged by Adebayejo. Free kick for Needham at right back.
Yeah, unfortunately for Crane, he's a left footer. And if it was a right footer that went in there with that chance, he would have just let it fly. But he had to come back on his left foot, and it gave them a chance. A great great break there from Needham, and it just shows that little bit of belief. They can create something. They'll always get a chance. Every team that plays, they always get a chance. Could that be the chance that they were going to get in this game?
That's the concern for Dino Marmaria and the home fans at this stage, just 1-0 up, that Needham will get a chance. And as Alex says, will it just be that one? Because it was lovely weighted pass through for Crane.
A couple of changes, let's see what they can bring to the party.
Yeah, Kevin Hollock and Tom Rothery, his assistant, going to make alterations. Here is Dan Morphew going back towards his goalkeeper. Has he sold him short? Garnham just gets there ahead of Lakin. His clearance bypasses Ingram as Taylor drops to the deck. Kevin Hollock just having a word with a couple of players, just freshening things up. Understandably, some weary legs out there that have played just a few minutes shy of an hour. Here is Frimpong, deep inside Needham territory, rolls the ball to the left, and Jake Dye. Here is Dye once more, closed down by Oshalaja, the match winner as things stand. Now Frimpong over the halfway. Needham will have gained heart from that break, and that half a chance. Frimpong blocked off by Lakin. Lakin then gets the ball forward to Oshalaja. Signs that maybe things are opening up. Brothers, who I guess might be one of those players coming off, understandably tiring the 32-year-old who's been out injured.
That's good to hear, because the Burton fans are getting a little bit on their back now, so it's good that they can see that Needham might get something. So all credit to this Needham market side.
Crane back towards Hammond, who drags the ball back under the studs of his right boot. Dan Morphew, Dr. Dan Morphew, to give him his full title, has got a doctorate. He plays into the centre of the field. Collard, wasted from Noah Collard. And that was decent from Needham, passing the ball around. Here come the first changes of the afternoon for Needham Market. They're bringing on Fitzgerald, who's a midfield player.
Jacob Lay coming off. He's just worked really hard, Jacob Lay, really has. He's not been great on the ball, but he's worked tirelessly for the team.
And Khan Bennett is the other player who is coming on, who's on loan from Colchester.
The young lad's coming off. Is it Collard?
Yeah, Collard is the player. So clearly, Patrick Brothers has still got enough left in the tank. Collard and Lay are the two players coming off. Bennett and Fitzgerald are those who have come from the bench.
So let's see if they can make a difference in that midfield.
And his 6th appearance for the club, young Bennett. Fitzgerald, a 20-year-old, started against Maidstone, so a bit more experience. Let's see what happens in the remainder of this game. Around about 32 minutes still to play in this FA Cup tie. Throw to Burton outside the Needham Market area, over in the far left corner. It's going to be Hamer, no surprise there, to take this throw in for the League One strugglers. The throw is to Taylor. Now Hamer, first time high cross towards the far post. Hughes battling with Hammond, drops down to Keylord. Great interception from Frimpong, who's then fouled. Superb work from the number 14.
He's really come into a game the second half, really put himself about, really up for the challenge, and really getting his teammates going. Good challenge that, he really set his team alight there.
Here is Garnham from outside his area, Needham's hero in the first half, but still they trail by 1-0. 14 minutes into this second half. I think there's going to be a change from the home bench as well.
The two Morphews have done well at the back. They have, because there's no easy people to play against. Badu and the other big lad up front.
Here is Hammond with this throw for Needham, backed by the noisy travelling crowd. The market man, Crane, with the ball in field to Frimpong. Just tucks it back to Kieran Morphew, out to the left side, and Dye. The left back skips into the centre circle before laying it back to Dan Morphew. Given away by Dan Morphew to Taylor. Forward come Burton, looking for a second goal inside the Needham box. Into the centre it comes, cleared away by Kieran Morphew. And as far as Keylord done, Scotsman takes it on his chest, forced back. Dan Morphew is after him. Keylord Dunn's left-footed cross is sliced and overhit. Goal kick.
Again, we've just got to make sure we keep the ball But good pressing from Burton. It really was. They really wanted the tempo in that pressing bit there. Forced Needham market and giving the ball away.
Fitzgerald, another academy player who's come through the ranks at Bloomfield, the 20-year-old midfielder who's just come on a few moments ago. Joe Powell is going to be one of 2 changes for the home side. Always impresses me when I see Joe Powell, former West Ham player, and the former Ipswich Town player, Mustafa Carayol, the Gambian, is coming on. First change is Charlie Lakin, who goes off. Carayol will come on for him. Remember Mustafa Carayol's highlight of his Ipswich Town career was a really exciting first half at Deepdale. He was tremendous. That went off sick at half-time, I seem to recall. The other change is Keylor Dunn. Won't score against Suffolk opposition 2 years in a row in round 1 of the FA Cup, and on his place comes Powell. So 2 good changes from the Burton bench.
Yeah, I can remember that game. I think I did that game.
Yeah, you would have done.
Yeah, Carayol. And then came off sick. I think it was his debut, wasn't it?
It was very early on in his Ipswich Town career. Didn't play that often. Ball back towards his goalkeeper from Mariappa. Sinisalo gives it back to Mariappa. There's a slip in front of him, Borthwick Jackson, but he's regained his footing. And then left-footed knocks it long, trying to get Adebayo behind. Dan Morphew with a good header to the left-hand side, and Kieran Morphew completes the clearance high up into the Staffordshire clouds, nodded down by Mariappa through to Needham Market, which Kieran Morphew.
I think it just shows you how much a turnaround the Ipswich Town players have been over the few years, because everybody seems to have played for Ipswich Town of late.
It's rarely you watch a game and there isn't a former Ipswich Town player to look at. Don't think there's one at Bracknell. Here is Carayol. That's the next full match commentary on Monday night. Then in a week's time, Ipswich Town back in league action at home to Cheltenham. Then they're away to Exeter a couple of weeks from now. Sinisalo has an awkward ball to deal with off to right. He's controlled it, but then he's closed down by Ingram. Just got it away. Very sloppy from Burton. At the moment, Dina Marmaria is staying silent. Can't have been happy with that though. Adebayo for Burton, getting it forward to Powell. Powell trying to head it on beyond Kieran Morphew. Touched back by Burton to Mustafa Carayol. Low ball into the edge of the area. Good ball from a little layoff from Powell is intercepted by Dan Morphew before Oshalaja, who, including the goal, has been getting himself into some attacking positions. Oshalaja, which has surprised me a bit because he tends to play defensive midfielder defender. Through from Carayol into the box. Oshalaja surely offside. He's missed anyway.
He's not good at it, is he?
No, flag stayed down. Wow.
Oh, what a sitter that is. What a miss that is.
What an opportunity spurned by Oshalaja, who's still down on all fours. He can't believe it, nor can we. Flag did stay down. Dan Morphew questioning that. What a chance for Burton to make it 2-0. I was going to say they might do now, but no. In steps Fitzgerald, his first involvement, gets the ball back to the edge of the Needham box. Hammond goes forward. Ingram, can he get the head of Mariappa? He's headed on Luke Ingram. And then it might be knocked out behind for Needham Market's first corner kick of the match.
Now take your time now and set up. Don't be doing anything early.
Kevin Horlock at the moment is kicking every ball down in front of us. Now just passing on some refreshment to Kieran Morphew. It's corner kick to Needham Market. 64 minutes played. They're 1-0 down at Burton. Is this to be their moment? Left-footed from Crane into our right-hand side penalty box. Comfortable catch for Sinisalo in the end. Quick release from him. Of course, Needham still very much in this tie. Hamer on a gallop far side. Smith wants it in front of him. Great from Hammond. Then he dives in again. Can't get on the ball this time. Smith's cross into the box. It comes. Has to be dealt with. That was superbly dealt with by young Fitzgerald. That was a very difficult ball to deal with.
He did very well. And to be fair, he's not gave it. He's gave us a goal kick.
He obviously played it off the Burton player, but he was in all sorts of pressure there. I was really worried he might put it into his own net. Rushing back into the 6-yard box off to our left. Fitzgerald did well. Back to Graham.
Colville got one back against Charlton. Bottrell 2-1. Alvechurch 2-1 up at Cheltenham. Grimsby 5. Plymouth 1.
Wow.
Astonishing. And looking at that, I mean, it's a good Plymouth side. Yeah, they've rested 1 or 2, but still a lot of players that played against Exeter on Monday night when they strengthened their grip on first place in League One. What a result.
I put the kiss of death on them, didn't I? I just said Plymouth are going well.
Yeah, and I looked at the stats at half time as well, and Grimsby had the possession, they'd had all the efforts on goal pretty much. It wasn't as if that was a smash and grab, and I didn't look at those stats and think, well, Plymouth are all over them, it's only a matter of time. Tremendous result for former Ipswich Town manager Paul Hurst. Here is Marcus Garnham. 1-0 Burton, remember, still in this game. 25 minutes to play.
I think Needham mark it. They're going to put somebody going to put themselves in the history books.
I think so. Afterwards, your thoughts very welcome. Give Graham a call, 0800 141 2121, or you can text your thoughts to 81333. Start those messages with SFK or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Match day on air until 6 o'clock. Oshalaja is down on all fours, requiring some treatment after the ball hit him in the face. Kieran Morphew just having a laugh at something or other, Kevin Horlock, about something or other. Just texts and WhatsApps this afternoon, so you can text us your thoughts any point from now onwards. 81333, start the message with SFK, or it's 08000 321 333 if you'd rather WhatsApp. What do you made of this? 21 minutes, Alex? Almost at the third quarter mark of this match.
I think Needham have looked a little bit better going forward, a little bit better on the ball, and they've had a couple of opportunities with the corner, and then we've had the chance, so that if it was the right footer, they probably took it earlier. But I still think they're in this game. I mean, the longer it stays 1-0, they've got a great chance of getting a goal. I still think they will get another chance, Brenner. I think that both teams are tired. I just think they just need that little bit of quality when they get there, and take the time when they get a free kick round about the area, and it might be that actually wins, gets them back into the game. But they've done so well. They have done so well. I mean, obviously Burton's had a couple of chances they should have scored, but still in all, still keep going and still to be in this game with 25 minutes to go, or 20 minutes to go, 23 minutes to go. I think they've got a great opportunity here.
Basically, we need a Basant Salina moment over that area. Remember the infamous free kick came off the bench, much to Mick McCarthy's almost annoyance. Oh. I remember that great goal off to our right-hand side, followed by the full shirt off.
I remember the celebration,
Cristiano Ronaldo's celebration. Yeah, because the fans have been calling for him to come on. Mick wasn't pleased when he came on and got the winning goal. Anyway, play resumes. Fitzgerald with a header forward to Brothers, giving it to Ingram. Ingram shoots, blocked off. That was travelling and worth a go as well. Needham are just going to have to do that. Cleared forward by Hamer. Dye stretches, gets something on the ball, not enough. Adebayoja turns in, steps Frimpong, who's grown into this game and done very well. Dan Morphew out to the left. Here he is again, turning away to the left-hand side. Dye dropping a shoulder. Getting beaten by Smith though. Smith on the ball to the right hand side for Burton. Well done by Bennett. His attempted clearance is charged down and goes back to Garnham with the ball inside his penalty box, off to our left hand side. What can Needham do in this final quarter of this FA Cup tie? Still so finely poised, headed over the halfway line by Dye. Frimpong brought down, is he, by Taylor? No, says the referee, and I tend to agree. Here is Powell, just on as a substitute. His legs are fresh. Outside the Needham box, held up Powell. He's got Smith close to him. Smith gets the ball back to Hamer on the far side of the field. Taylor on the ball for Burton, who are about to bring on Onyango, who's on loan from Everton. Hughes takes a chance and comes forward, gives it to Oshalaja, the goal scorer. Rides the challenge of Crane, then dinks the ball out to the right-hand side. Burton inside the Needham market area. Smith tipped to him past a number of players. Frimpong steps in and gets it back towards Morphew.
He's been all over the place today, Frimpong. Second half, he's been outstanding.
Wide on the right-hand side, here is Powell. Burton. Left-footed, he shoots, blocked away. Maybe another follow-up chance, and the way of that was Kieran Morphew, but then it was a slice from Hamer, who'd got himself into a striking position. Garnham floats his goal kick to Hammond, who controls it towards the halfway line. Hammond with a switch of play to Bennett. He controls it. Burton had committed bodies forward. What can Needham do on the counter-attack? Bennett on loan from Colchester inside the Burton box. Squeezes the ball into the centre, but it's come off a home player and goes back to Sinisalo.
Good play again though, good play from Garnham, the goalkeeper, saw his full back on, and then a good switchy play. We never saw that in the first half, did we? Now we're getting a little bit more, they're getting more and more into the game the longer the game goes.
Hearing good reports about Tyler Onyango, who has been playing for Burton in the league. Another tall player, number 12, on loan, as I say, from the Premier League. Powell trying to get Adebayejo in behind. Well done again by Kieran Morphew. His clearance is controlled by Borthwick Jackson, just gets it away from Brothers. Borthwick Jackson coming forward for Burton, trying to turn the screw and kill off Needham Market to the left hand side. Oshalaja, in comes his cross, it's gone beyond the far post, collected though by Smith. Burton on top, he squeezed the ball into the middle, touched out behind by Dan Morphew, who's really annoyed with himself.
Yeah, he didn't want to be giving that one away, did he?
Chip corner kick to Burton Albion. Here comes another change for them. Off will go Mariappa, on will come Onyango. Interesting change, bringing off a centre half to bring on an attacking midfielder, number 10, he's been playing of late, Onyango. If anything, he adds height to this Burton side. For a centre half, Mariappa's not the tallest. Onyango could be the actual tallest player out there now by the looks of him.
Yeah.
Very tall player. Corner kick to Burton Albion. Getting to that stage where you think a second goal for them. Surely it's curtains for Needham, although after last Saturday's game that I watched, I shouldn't be quite saying that. Corner kick for Burton into the Needham box, free header for Hughes, headed away again by defender on the line, nodded forward by Oshalaja. Garnham sees it's going beyond his left post.
Yeah, again, the weather and the storm, they've defended so well, haven't they? They really have. Okay, they've rode their luck a little bit, but they've defended so well. I love the goalkeeper because he's so nonchalant. He's just, let's say, he really does. You say he's a school teacher?
Yeah, primary school
player.
teacher. He's also a painter and decorator on the side, an electrician, software developer, lorry driver.
Brilliant.
That's what the FA Cup's all about. Is one of them going to be a hero? 18 to go. Headed away from the back by Oshalaja, who might have gone into the back line actually, with Onyango coming on. Well done again there by Kieran Morphew. Burton get it back with Powell. He lays it off to the left hand side, and Carriol. Right throughout this game, it's been very much a League One side that Needham have faced. If you went with us for team news earlier on, this has not been Burton Albion's reserves by any stretch of the imagination. All of these players, subs and starting 11, will feature in their next league game next weekend. Short throw from Hammond, gives it to Kieran Morphew, then Hammond hangs the ball high up in the sky. Bennett challenges Taylor. Bennett's ended up on the deck in a bit of pain, and is going to require some treatment by the looks of things from Bex Easy, who's the sports therapist at Needham Market. Very strong backroom staff behind Kevin Horlock. Very strong management team as well and the upper echelons of the club. And I must actually say a big thanks to Mark, the club secretary, who sadly has not been able to make the trip today, but he's been wonderful and tremendously helpful in the build-up to this game here this afternoon. As Kevin Horlock said in his interview at 2:05, so many people make football the lifeblood of football clubs like Needham Market, and such a strong lower league scene in our county of Suffolk, and always a pleasure to deal with these clubs. And of course, if you're into your non-league football, an hour of it throughout the season on the Thursday night Sports Social, which I know that clubs really do appreciate, and that's always worth a listen once the Ipswich Town stuff is done and dusted. Here is Taylor, the number 23 of Burton, giving it back to Hughes. Still just 1-0 to Burton Albion. On the right hand side, trying to change that is Smith, cutting in field, then crossing into the Needham box, diving to head it away is Dan Morphew. Smith can build again into the Needham box, gets towards the byline, goes out of play without a touch off a Needham player. Goal kick to Marcus Garnham. And also I have to mention, as I will always do when we are following lower league football in Suffolk, the likes of Alan Crumpton and Simon Waugh, sadly no longer with us, but both would have absolutely loved this occasion here this afternoon. Great characters and people who absolutely loved their local football, gone but never forgotten. Headed over halfway by Oshalaja, definitely occupying a more defensive role in the side. Needham still in this tie. That is good to see. Oh, almost given away. Ingram closed down Oshalaja, breakdown in communication, and could be a dangerous adversary. Needham in the closing stage of this game with absolutely nothing to lose. And we talked ahead of this game about Needham maybe being nervous. It will be Burton and their fans who will get edgy if it stays like this. 1-0. Running forward is Hughes, playing it up towards Adebayejo. Again, Needham defend well and get the ball out. Good feet from Brothers, getting it back to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald finds a pass to the left-hand side. He's done well since he came on, the youngster Fitzgerald. Now here is Garnham at the back for Needham, who have defended superbly. Oshalaja, high header forward, headed away by Kieran Morphew. Nodded down to Mustafa Carriol, can pose a threat. His left-footed ball into the box, chested down by Adebayo, but it comes to nothing. Couldn't do anything with the chest trap. It was a lovely floated ball in from Carriol, and should have been 2-0. Out from Kieran Morphew to Frimpong. Frimpong gives it back to Kieran Morphew. He'll pass it to Bennett on this near side, floored by Borthwick Jackson. Needham has certainly grown in confidence at the back, and well they might.
Now we're just waiting in this last 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Is he going to do anything? Is he going to try and go for it? Or I think he will need to. I think he needs to go for another sub and change it a little bit to try and get back into it.
Long free kick from Hammond, headed away by Oshalaja. Fitzgerald wins a good header, nodded on by Ingram. Can Brothers get on it in behind? He can't. Swung away off the left boot of Borthwick Jackson. Hammond piles into the back of Mustafa Carriol. It's going to be another change from the Needham bench. Player just getting instructions from Tom Rothery as we speak. I think by the looks of things it could be Seth Chambers who might be coming on, who is a forward, the 18-year-old. This will be quite some story if an 18-year-old comes off the bench.
That's what the FA Cup's all about, Brenner.
It is, isn't it? Just that moment. Great work again from Kieran Morphew, who's been excellent, particularly he's been out of the team for a month through injury. Adebayejo to the left-hand side. Powell in to ground goes Hammond. It's a Needham throw. Referee agrees with you, Alex. Throw from Bennett goes over the top of Hammond. And Kieran Morphew just stretching his calf muscles by the looks of things.
No wonder he's put a shift in today.
Just. Here's a change for Needham. Patrick Brothers, who's done brilliantly to get through to the 32nd minute of the second half, and is replaced by the youngster Seth Chambers, another academy player. Tall boy, the number 19. Well, what a story that would be. Kieran Morphew takes a bit of a chance. Confident ball across his area to Dan Morphew. Out short it comes to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald goes back to Dan Morphew, then to Frimpong as Burton are pressing. Needham are playing the ball around nicely towards the halfway line, and then Hammond hits it forward. They've done so well, Needham Market.
They have.
Goodness me. Really well played their football and dug in as well. They've absolutely been a credit to their club and to the county and to the Southern League Premier Central as well. Wide on the right hand side, it's Powell taking a lot of touches. Smith back to Powell. Powell swings the ball to the left hand side. Carriol one-on-one with Hammond. Hammond's done well to block off Carriol, then Carriol takes the ball out of play. It's a throw in. Mustafa Carriol's arguing and then having a little bit of afters with Bennett. Bennett standing up to Carriol, trying to intimidate him. Bennett's having none of that. Carriol should just leave it. Kieran Morphew back to Garnham. Again, good first time hit from Garnham's right boot. Chested down by Frimpong. 11 minutes to play. Needham with Dye. Probably asking too much of Chambers. Given chase far side. Rather luckless one in the end. It's going to be a throw in to Burton Albion. Kevin Horlock just clapping there. Couldn't really have asked much more from his players. Very, very proud of this performance. Kevin saying post Maidstone and ahead of this game, this achievement by Needham is up there with anything he achieved in his career, and this is a man who played international football for Northern Ireland, played for Manchester City, West Ham, had that spell at Ipswich Town, and That just tells you all you need to know about what Needham Market have done in this FA Cup season. But sadly, at the moment, it's 5 games and out for them. 1-0 down. They still are. Oshalaja with that goal after 34 minutes. 10 minutes to go of this FA Cup tie. On Monday it's Bracknell versus Ipswich. Here is Hammond, one-time Ipswich Town trainee, trying to get the ball forward to Chambers. Oshalaja gets it back to Sinisalo. Up in the air goes his kick, not very far, headed down by Frimpong. The flag goes offside against Ingram, just when things started to look as if they might get interesting.
I don't know why I'm getting excited, Ben, but I like to see the underdogs do well, do you know what I mean? And he just about fell to him, Ingram, and that would have made his day, because he's worked tirelessly up there.
Yeah. Well, while it's 1-0, Needham still in with a shout of causing an almighty upset. Put their name up in lights, the likes of Grimsby and Chippenham by the looks of things this afternoon. Here is Crane. Had that chance early doors in the second half. How we'd love to relive that minute. Powell down the right hand side to Onyanga. Giant of a player. In front of him is Smith. It's blocked off by Dye, who's, well, we could say every player's done well, but he's done well at left back. Jake Dye.
I'd like to see them get I think they deserve a draw, a replay at least. But I mean, Burton obviously have had the chances, they've been the better side, but I just think for the effort they've put in today to keep it the way it is defensively, and even a little bit going forward, to get a draw would be fantastic.
Hamer with a throw into the Needham box, headed away well under pressure from Hughes while the defenders got that way. Smith for Burton, tries to squeeze his cross into the box. He's caught late, is he? Home crowd thought so. Needham get the ball away. Ingram couldn't keep a hold of it. Powell to Mustafa Carriol. Adebayo inside the area with a pull back, edge of the area. Powell sets himself again. Great defending from Needham. Frimpong can bring it away. And still, Needham won't allow Burton to put 1 foot in the second round of the FA Cup. It's still just a toenail at the moment. It's 8 minutes to go, sorry. And they still can't kill off this plucky, well-organised Needham Market side, who really I just cannot give enough credit to for the way they've performed this afternoon. There's never looked 4 levels between them.
No, and the managers for his organisation.
Garnham, long kick downfield, headed back to the goalkeeper by Taylor.
He's set his stall out, he's set his team out to well, and he's got more people going forward now, as you would expect, so he's done well, Kevin Horlock.
And they've not come and parked the bus at any stage, have they?
No.
They've been sensible when Burton have had time on the ball. They've obviously got men behind it, but any team would do that. Hughes, long punt forward. Carriol's gone after it. Garnham should get there, uses his gloves well. It's all about the short rollout to Hammond. Eventually does do that. Hammond on the ball in front of us. First time hit forward. Chambers tries to challenge Hughes. Hughes gets there first. Here is Powell. Bennett goes after him. Can't challenge him. Powell was away. Powell goes to Carriol. Now it's with Borthwick Jackson. Burton keeping the ball on the halfway line. They know they've been in the game, these Burton Albion players. They'll be open for a far easier test in round 2 of the competition if things stay as they are. 6.5 to go. Kyle Hammond of Needham Market with a throw in. Let's just hope they get one more chance in the closing stages. As I said, bearing in mind what I watched last week out at the Valley, you never know quite what's going to happen. Ball forward for Burton. Adebayo inside the Needham Market box, takes it on a bit too far. That allows Garnham to make the stop. He went down bravely and the ball's out behind for a corner kick. Garnham has stayed down and requires treatment, but for a second there that looked like it could be the killer blow. He's gonna, when he gets back up, which hopefully he will do,
just get caught, hasn't
corner
he?
Kick. Yeah, he has. He's had a very good game, Marcus Garnham, but he's on the floor requiring some treatment at the moment.
That's his knee, I think. I thought it was his head at first.
Well, Finlay Shorten, the young goalkeeper, is on the bench if needs be, but hopefully he's going to be all right. Garnham, as Burton prepare themselves for this corner kick. Onyango clearly has to be watched. See who's going to be taking it. It is Taylor by the looks of things. It's just great that we've got to the 85th minute, Alex, and the result is far from a foregone conclusion, isn't it?
No, it could go either way, couldn't it? I mean, Burton have been the stronger, they've had the best chances, but you're still hoping that that Needham will get a chance. Because they gave themselves a chance by just hanging in there and defending really well. I mean, honestly, the credit you've got to give to the team and his Kevin Horlock and his players today has been absolutely superb. They really have. As you say, Brennan, he's done his team and his supporters and that proud today.
Well, this one's going according to league position, sadly, whereas on Monday we'll be hoping that one goes according to league position, and maybe Ipswich Town can see off Bracknell a bit more comfortably than Burton are against Needham Market. Town away at Bracknell, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Garnham's back up on his feet. Corner kick to Burton, who are packing that 6-yard area off to our left-hand side, looking for a killer second goal. In comes the corner kick, headed up towards the edge of the area. Needham have done well. Can they do anything on the break? Headed forward by Frimpong, who's been caught late. Brave header from the midfielder. Free kick at the back for Needham Market. Dan Morphew rolls it square to Kieran alongside him. Up to halfway, Ingram, little layoff, gets it back from Fitzgerald, who's impressed me since he came on. Wide left Bennett, nice play from Needham. Bennett has the ball wide left outside the Burton box, back to Frimpong. Stands on the ball, definitely grown in confidence as this game's gone on, as you would expect. Closing down is done by Onyango. The ball's out on the far side of the field for a throw into Needham Market.
Yeah, I'd like Bennett just to go and take his full back on there rather coming back, get a corner, get something. Because you always feel when he's going to come back they're going to lose the ball, but if they go and commit defenders, that's what he's got to be doing.
Ingram against Hughes. Hughes heads the ball down, cleared by Hamer, not very far. Needham trying to force the ball into the final third, off to our right hand side. Where are we? 3 minutes of the 90 to go as the ball is back with Sinisalo. Kevin Horlock would have probably taken this scoreline at this stage if you'd asked him pre-match. Still firmly in this match, Sinisalo. Ingram will benefit from having Chambers on the field, no doubt. Can play wide right or an attacking midfield role. Ingram, left footer forward from Taylor, spinning in the air. Adebayo under pressure, doesn't do anything with the ball. Played to the right hand side by Kieran Morphew to Kyle Hammond. Hammond goes up towards Ingram. Ingram with a header on towards Chambers, the 18-year-old. Heads it on for himself inside the area. The angle goes against him. He's done very well to hold on to the ball. Chambers to the right hand side, and Crane, promising from Needham in the dying stages. Crane taking on a couple of defenders, going in field. Chambers inside the box. The angle isn't good. He's still got the ball. He's done well, Chambers. Tangle of legs with Taylor. You wonder if he'd gone down there. Cleared away as far as Hammond. Hammond's touch is out of play, and that's an almighty shame.
Good play again for the two young lads. Do you know what I mean? He's trying to go in. I just thought maybe, as he goes, will he go down? But to be fair, it was good defending. It didn't really. I don't think they got anything.
Yeah, I wondered about that as well. That's Ross Crane's last involvement in the game. Harry Knight is coming on, the number 15, 23-year-old defender. He's a big lad, clearly a very different sort of player to Ross Crane. It'll be interesting to see where he goes, whether he gets flung up front or whether maybe Dan Morphew's going to do that. Let's just wait and see. We're approaching the final minute of the 90. Fitzgerald with a header in field. Frimpong slices his attempted overhead. Ball won in midfield by Dye. Then he flings himself into a challenge. It pings back off Taylor to the edge of the Burton box. Nothing comes of it. Knights with a header towards the halfway line of Fitzgerald. Good header on from Fitzgerald. He's done ever so well. Here is Smith. As you'd imagine, it's open this game. Why not? Needham have got to have a go. Ball kept in. Is it by Onyango? No, it's out behind. Goal kick to Garnham. Well, they might as well have a go now. If they lose this game by 2-0, well, what the heck? No disgrace in that scoreline. But time is running out. 30 seconds before we're told how much added on time there is going to be. Cleared by Garnham to the far side. Good kick. Bennett is on the ball. Forces a slip out of Smith. back to Dye. Dye then whips one forward. Hughes goes to ground. Out on the far side of the field it goes. So all on the edge of our seats, just hoping. Still got to believe. Ingram with a header on. The board is about to go up. It's only 4 minutes. 4 minutes of Needham Market's FA Cup journey to go this season. As things stand, they're 1-0 down. Burton holding on to this 1-0 advantage. How much do you want a corner kick or a free kick off to our right hand side? Just that one chance. Here is Bennett, seen a bit of the ball since he came on. Dye knocks it into the centre. Hammond inside the Burton box, tumbles down, gets back to his feet. Play continues. Maybe a chance now for Needham. The ball is pulled back to Bennett. Can he get out from under his feet? He can. He crosses into the middle, but straight into the stomach of Sinisalo.
You just wanted a better ball one, didn't you?
Yeah, just hope when Hammond got into the box. Needs must. Lights has certainly gone to the back. I think it's a back three for Needham at the moment. Dan Morphew's come across this right hand side of that three. Powell for Burton. 1 minute has already gone of the added on 4. Taylor playing it forward to Powell. Short from Powell, in goes Morphew, caught by Carriol. Dan Morphew that was, who stretches out his hand to Carriol, from Carriol apologetically, but that hurt Morphew. Marcus Garnham coming out, getting ready to take this free kick for Needham Market. 2.5 minutes to go. Surely he'll go up if there's a corner kick towards the end. Forward comes Garnham, clips it downfield. Onyanga's header goes behind him. Hughes powers it to the halfway line. Adebayeja tangling with Frimpong. Real battle of the heavyweights. Knocked forward by Needham, headed away from the back by Oshalaja. Header one on halfway by Knights, who's been involved since he came on. Fitzgerald goes after Smith. Smith goes back to his goalkeeper Sinisalo, who's closed down by Ingram and just gets rid of it. Great energy, great fitness levels from Needham Market as well, it has to be said.
Yeah, they've given that everything. They've given everything.
It's one thing you sort of wonder as these games progress whether fitness might catch out a team like Needham Market, playing against full-time professional athletes with all the physicians, dietitians, recovery procedures that they have. At the moment there's a break in play because Frimpong is having some cramp stretched out.
That doesn't surprise me. He's got a right shift in, Brenner. He really has.
But they all have, haven't they?
They all have.
They haven't. I mean, they're tired out there, but they haven't looked any less fit than Burton. Burton haven't run all over them at any stage. They've had spells in the game. They've been the better team overall, Burton, but Needham deserve to be in with this chance of still getting a replay. Chippenham have knocked out Lincoln. That's the big shock, or one of the shocks of the afternoon. It won't be a shock, well, it would be a shock if they get a replay. They're not going to get a win here anyway, Needham Market, this afternoon. That's beyond the realms. Hammond gets the ball back towards the halfway line, and Garnham, who's way out of his area. Final minute of this tie. Long kick from Garnham, headed by Hammond into the box. Maybe a chance for Chambers. Blocked off. Comes out as far as Dye. Another block there. Oh, Kevin Horlock's head's in his hands. He thought that might be the moment, and so did we sitting here. Can Needham force another opportunity? That was 2 quick fire chances for Chambers, and then it was Dye following up.
Great defending, but you just wanted one of them nestling in the back of the net, didn't you?
20 seconds to go. Ingram with a throw-in outside the Burton box. It's now or never. Off to our right-hand side. On that occasion, it's never. Headed away. Back as far as Ingram. High cross into the box. Players are forward. Burton have got to defend it. Headed away by Onyango. Then Frimpong over the bar from 6 yards. He's hobbling. He's on one leg. Christian Frimpong. And I think it was the fit leg that he hit it with, but he's struggling.
Yeah, he is. He's got cramp, and once you get cramp like that, it just doesn't go away.
Bless him. Had that fall maybe to somebody else, maybe Kyle Hammond on his right foot. He's been amongst the goals this season. Brilliant stuff from Needham, it really is. The added on 4 minutes are up. The referee checks his watch. Sinisalo with this goal kick for Burton Albion. Obviously late fireworks from Needham on the 5th of November. thrown on the far side from Dye. Still play continues. There's still life in this for the Suffolk side. Not for much longer though. They're going out of the FA Cup. Burton get it to the halfway line, and Powell gives it to Carriol, who hangs it up in the air, headed away from the back by Kieran Morphew, taken on the chest of Taylor. Burton, a throw-in on goal. Powell, the flag has stayed down for 2-0. It's 2-0. Burton have ended Needham Market's FA Cup journey at the first round stage, grabbing a second goal of the afternoon and added on time right at the end of this match. Needham have been magnificent and probably only deserved a 1-0 victory. It's the final kick, a 1-0 defeat. It's the final kick of this FA Cup tie, which is now, sadly for Needham Market and Kevin Horlock, finished in a 2-0 defeat to Burton Albion. Shame that last kick of the game, Alex.
It was, because it was only because Frimpong couldn't move to get back. That's why he got in. Yeah, it was sad. They should have finished 1-0. They gave it everything. They gave it everything for the kitchen sink there to try and get the equaliser. And fair play to all the players out there, and Kevin Horlock. He put his steady stall out and he get well organised team, and I feel for them, but I would say Burton were the better side, better chances, but Needham Market, hats off to them, really done well.
What did Needham do well?
I think the game plan was great. I think they sat in there. I mean, keeping them. I mean, it'd been great if they went in 0-0 at half time, and then I think this crowd probably would have went back, started getting on their backs, and it'd been a different kettle of fish. You would have seen Burton coming back. Needham Market coming more and more into the game, like they did the second half. They kept it tight for the first 15. And then after that, they started to throw people forward. They started to create some chances, and really, I just thought they were unlucky. I thought they were unlucky. Burton had the quality, don't get me wrong, but Needham Market gave it everything. They deserved their chance, and unlucky for them, they never. But they done themselves proud.
They defended superbly, didn't they?
Yeah, the two Morphews at the back, the goalkeeper, and to be fair, every player on the pitch was superb for them at the back. Going forward, they worked hard to no avail. Sometimes Ingram up front in his own worked tirelessly. Never had an opportunity really, but when he did get the ball and got an opportunity, he looked as if he can play. And the young lad that came on just didn't fault him. And then Frimpong, and later on, if he didn't have cramp, he might have done better. But yeah, it wasn't to be. But celebrating it with their fans now, which they deserve.
Yeah, it's lovely to see, and just having a laugh there whilst Alex was talking of Kieran Morphew doing an impersonation of Christian Frimpong in those last few moments, just limping round about him. Kevin Horlock and his players are applauding the masses off to our right hand side, and Burton really, Alex, knew they were in a game there this afternoon, didn't they? Burton Albion, they were never able to cruise.
No, they weren't. And I mean, they had some good chances. They should have maybe took, but Burton knew they were in a game today, and Needham Market done their best to do that. And I just thought it was a little bit unlucky. The second goal was I would have liked to see it finish 1-0 if anything. The second goal just puts a little bit of a dampener on it for them.
Yeah, that was a real shame, wasn't it, at the end?
But yeah, I thought the ref should have blew the whistle before then. But as soon as he went through, he should have blew it. But I mean, obviously they're a lot more quality, Burton, but effort, everything that you expect in the FA Cup was there today to see.
Just acknowledged Kevin Horlock as he went down the tunnel and signalled to me that he'll be up in 5 minutes for a bit of a chat. He'll be a very, very proud man, despite the fact his side's out of the FA Cup, Graham, after what turned out to be a 2-0 defeat here to Burton Albion in the end.